Happy Peeps, Suzanna here today for the Scrap Room, and I'm sharing with you a Vicki Boutin layout using the October Flavor of the Month kit, as well as the pattern paper add-on and the embellishment add-on. That is the layout that I created there. So the kit comes with craft cardstock. I opted to go with white, so that is from my own stash. I did think that maybe I might back the photo with the craft, but I really wanted more of that clean look of the white cardstock. So I love this modified rainbow here that Vicki has, and I'm going to need another sheet of this paper. And I struggled long and hard between using it as it is and cutting it apart. And I decided I'm going to pull on my big girl panties and I'm going to cut it apart. And my idea here was that I was going to use different segments of the rainbow and do as I've done here and kind of overlap them, kind of like a game. I can't think of the name of the game where they're colored tiles on black and you overlap them, kind of like dominoes in a way. Anyway, my thought was that I was going to do that and create my own fun background where you would still see all of the colors that are in the pattern paper and be better able to appreciate them. However, this is a large photo. It is not 8.5 by 11. It is kind of an odd size. I printed it 8.5 by 11, but then I thought that was too big, and I went smaller, and I just shrunk it by 75%. So whatever 75% of 8.5 by 11 is the size of this photo. And I really liked the way that it turned out, but again, because of the size of the photo, you lose the visibility of what I think is actually a critical part of the paper. So I shrunk the photo and I thought, well, maybe this will work better and you'll be able to see all of the colors. Well, you do see all of the colors, but then it became too busy and the photo actually got lost in the, we'll just call them arcs. And so I decided, oh, I'll try and rearrange it around this. And I had already fussy cut, you can see the pattern paper, the florals that I'd fussy cut. And so what I struggled with here was pulling in the blue and the green. That I really, most of this layout was about those warmer pinks, yellows, and purples. And so I settled with going back to my large photo and just using the arcs that included the colors that were in the florals there. And I really liked the way that that set up. I have 3 clusters of florals as I'm wanting to do to create that visual triangle that moves your eye around the page. And now I'm going to sift through the embellishments and figure out which of the embellishments I want to tie into the page. I really liked that yellow floral because, again, it was the same color palette, but the problem is I only had one and it was one flower and it didn't match, and that didn't work. But I did really like this ephemera piece that says I have a story to tell. And so I wanted to incorporate that into one of the florals, but I felt like these floral clusters were really, really big. And so in order to bring the 2 big clusters down to size, peeking out of the photo was the best way to go with that. And then in doing so, I discovered this feather that I really want to incorporate into it because I like that black and I like the weight of that black against the weight of the black in the photo, sort of the shadow on the couch. These are the, along with the kit, you get a sheet from the sticker book, and that's going to vary, obviously. And what I'm going to warn you is that I don't know if all of the stickers are this way, but mine are actually washi stickers, and I wasn't aware of that. So trying to pull them off the paper, you can see I get really frustrated here because the paper kept coming with the sticker. So it is washi, so just expect it to be more opaque and see-through if you get the same stickers that I do. Again, it's going to vary because it's the kit, and Rochelle is splitting up the sticker book in order to give everybody an equal opportunity of getting embellishments. So I like this layout. I'm going to go with it. I like the placement of things. Only you know me, I am going to change my mind. And I'm not quite sure what prompted the change of mind here, but it's not uncharacteristic for me to do that. So I have decided that I want to, there's a good chunk of that arc underneath the photo. So as I'm doing here, I'm going to cut it so that I have a little bit more that I can incorporate into the background of the page. Although I do manage to lop off a giant chunk on the right hand side that I could have probably shifted the whole thing over. But it wasn't until I edited the video that I realized that that is indeed what I had done. So placement, check. Gluing things down, check. Spending a long time figuring out how this floral is going to go, check. You know how you get hung up on something and it's ridiculous and it's not rocket science, but yet you spend a long time fussing and obsessing over the one detail. Well, that floral, I spent a long time figuring that out. So this is that extra piece that I've cut out from back behind the photo, and I like the way that it just ties a little bit more color into the page there. Apparently I wasn't happy with the way that I had arranged it at first, so I'm going to rearrange everything again. The gray at that top left of the photo is nice white space in the photo, but it does weigh really heavy there, and so I do need to cover it up somehow or another. And so I'm going to solve that in a quick minute here. Get everything adhered down, and that is how we're going to go with the background. Now it's time to just stick all the florals that I thought I'd already arranged down again. Oh, I have this stamp. Don't ask me who it's from because I don't have its name. It's forever, ever, ever, ever old. Like I want to say maybe 8 years old, and it's a paint smudge, and it's in this perfect arc of the same arc as the pattern papers. And so I'm going to use some of my distress oxides and just add a little bit of color. Honestly, if I didn't tell you that I'd done that, I don't know that most people would know that I had. So I'm going to add a little bit of the magenta, and the one that I do on this right hand side of the page actually ends up getting completely covered up, but that's okay. I'm going to stamp some on the border like I've done there, and then I'm going to stamp some directly onto the arc, and you'll see that up the top right there, and that is actually visible on the layout. It's all visible except for the one underneath the right hand side of the page, and I really like that just little special touch that it adds. This is from my stash, this stamp. This is not part of the kit. I just like to dress up the kits and add a little more sometimes and just show you how you can pull things from your stash, minimal things really, and just give that little added pizzazz there. So I have that little added corner that I'm just going to use as kind of a photo frame up there. Again, not necessary, but I really like the distress on it, and I want to keep that distress look throughout the page. And so another means of doing that, you'll see I have another stamp to the right there. It's just words and typed words. I'm going to use that, and it's very similar actually to the background of that floral. Has some really subtle typed words in it, and that's where I got the idea to do that. So I'm going to trim off the edges here and then move on to the stamp to continue creating a bit of a distressed look. If I'd been all true Vicki, I would have gone in with the distress ink and probably smushed some ink or some art crayon in there, but I didn't really want to go too mixed media with this because I really honestly from the beginning wasn't sure what I was going to do. I'm literally just playing with the kit and kind of going with it. So this is distress oxide, as I said before, and I'm just lightly stamping on there for that distressed effect. One of the other things I am going to do off camera is I'm going to stitch in red on the top right corner and the bottom left corner. Just pull a little bit more red into the layout and kind of, it just ties it all together. It brings everything together. So despite the fact that we have arranged these flowers 50,000 times, we're going to go back to rearranging them. And this feather, I just need to learn to leave things alone, but I feel like I need to use it. And that's something that we all, I think, need to learn with these kits. with any of our creating is just because we have it doesn't mean we have to use it. Just because you own it doesn't mean it has to go on a page. I think sometimes we put too much on a page and we take away from the story. So that was one of the washi stickers from the sticker book. I really like the way that that maroon pulls a little bit more weight into the top of the layout there, and that says awesome stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to keep fussing with this flower, with this feather. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, but yeah, so be it. See, there we go, trying again. Also with the kit, you are going to get half of the thickers, and I am going to use that as my title, and my title is going to say good things. But in the meantime, I've committed to all of this stuff, and I'm going to stick it down. The two florals, so the yellow that's going to go right there, I'm going to put on some Gina K foam adhesive, as well as that top left. Normally I would like to have 3 things, but that floral, because it's tucked behind the photo, I could have popped just the corner of it, but really there was no need. I would have done it because I felt like I needed to have 3, more than that 2 wasn't enough. So here is a little bit of greenery from the foam. And they're not actually foam, they're puffy stickers. And I'm going to tuck those in behind some of the leaves or the florals, for just a little bit of extra greenery there. I really like the way that is dangling there, actually right there, but I feel like I need to have 3 pieces, 1 on each of the florals, and so I'm going to cut that down again. So some of the puffy stickers are tough to cut. You lose the rounded edges and they kind of start to separate, but these you can actually cut apart without issue, and that is exactly what I'm doing here. So brings the layout together nicely, adds just a little bit more greenery to it, and a little bit more depth to the page. And then I'm going to sprinkle some hearts throughout the layout. Again, I'm going to try and have a trio of those as well. But I do feel like I've got a rather open space up at the top right of that layout there. And so I will actually, off camera, I'm going to go in with a little bit of torn gold washi to go with the gold in the stars that are coming up. And then I am also going to use one of, actually Vicki's, I bought Vicki's stamp and die set, and I'm going to use the butterfly stamp at the top right there. Again, that does not come with the kit, that is just something that I bought. So that is going to be the title, and see how that top right, that's the other thing that doing the stitching kind of adds a little bit more up in the top right there. Here I am going to fight with the paper on the back of this sticker because it's washi. Actually, what I end up doing, you can see there with my tweezers, is poke my tweezers into it, and that pulls it off nicely. So that is pretty much going to wrap it up once I secure everything down. Again, this is a ScrapRoom kit layout. It is a subscription, but you do not have to subscribe. If you do subscribe and you're a new subscriber and you leave my name in the comment box, Rochelle will send you a little extra something. I really love getting 4 different collections every month, and then you can add the add-ons too if you want. I definitely suggest adding at least the embellishment add-ons, but I also like having the pattern papers. And it's fun to just be able to try out collections, and things like this Vicki Boutin collection, which are hard to get, Rochelle has in the kits, which is pretty awesome. So enjoy the close-ups. They're coming soon. If you have any questions about subscribing and or about my creative process here, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.